Take a deep breath. Let the day fall away. Let your mind grow still. Now. Imagine Egypt. Stone buildings, hot sun, the sound of work, of commands, of chains, and in the middle of it, a man named Moses, raised in Pharaoh's palace, but born to Hebrew slaves. He belonged everywhere and nowhere. He saw the suffering of his people, and one day he couldn't stay silent. He acted, and everything changed. He ran, far from Egypt, far from power, far from everything he once knew. Now, picture the desert, endless sand, open skies, quiet winds. This is where Moses lives now, not as a prince, but a shepherd. Years pass, day after day, simple, ordinary, forgotten by the world, but not by God, because God knows exactly where Moses is and exactly when to speak. Now, imagine the morning. Moses leads his sheep through the hills, just like every other day. Nothing seems different, nothing seems divine. But then, he sees something, far off, a bush. It's on fire, but not burning up. He stops, stares, steps closer. Something is happening, something holy, and without knowing it, Moses is walking toward the presence of God, right there, in the wilderness. Now pause, and imagine that. You too may feel far from where you started, far from the dreams you had, far from where you thought God would meet you, but maybe you're exactly where you're meant to be, and maybe, right now, God is getting ready to speak. So slow your thoughts, quiet your heart, because the next step might be holy ground. Take a moment, breathe in and breathe out. Let your mind settle, let the noise fade. Now, imagine this. You're walking through the wilderness. The air is dry, the ground beneath your feet is rough. You're alone, but not lost. You've been here before, you know this land, and then something catches your eye. A bush, on fire, but not burning up. You step closer, curious, confused. Then, a voice. Your name. Moses. Moses. You stop, heart still. You answer, "Here I am," and the voice speaks again. "Take off your sandals. The ground you're standing on is holy." Now, imagine that. God meeting you, right where you are, not in a temple, not on a stage, but in the wilderness, in the quiet, in the ordinary, in the middle of your day. That's where Moses found him. And maybe that's where you'll find him too, not in fire that destroys, but in fire that speaks. A holy moment, a quiet calling, a whisper that changes everything. So today, slow down, be still, and listen. God is still speaking, still calling, even now. But Moses didn't feel ready. He looked at the fire. He heard God's voice. And still, he doubted. He said, "Who am I, that I should go to Pharaoh?" And God replied, "I will be with you." Not, "You're strong enough." Not, "You're capable." Just this, "I will be with you." Because it was never about Moses being enough. It was always about God being present. And maybe that's what you need to hear too. When you feel too small, too broken, too far from bold, God still says, "I will be with you." Moses asked, "What if they don't believe me? What if I have nothing to say? What if I fail?" And God asked him, "What's in your hand?" "A staff, just a stick, ordinary, worn, used for guiding sheep." But in God's hands, that staff would part the sea, bring water from a rock, work wonders in Egypt, all from something simple, surrendered. So now, what's in your hand? What do you already have that God can use? It may not look like much, it may feel small, but when you give it to him, it becomes more than enough. So now, imagine Moses, standing there, sand beneath his feet, a staff in his hand, fear in his heart, and yet, God had called him. He didn't feel ready, but he went, step by step, through the desert, back to Egypt, back to the place he once fled, and God went with him. Now, imagine the palace, the stone walls, the sounds of power and pride. Moses stands before Pharaoh, the most powerful man in the world, and speaks words he never thought he'd say. "Let my people go." Pharaoh says no, again and again. But God is patient. God is working. God does not forget his promises. And maybe that's what you need to hear tonight. He has not forgotten you. Even if the answer seems delayed, even if the way feels blocked, he is still moving, still making a way. Now, close your eyes if you haven't already. Picture the river flowing again, not just beside you, but through the story. The Nile. Once a place of sorrow, now touched by the hand of God. Plague after plague comes, not to destroy without purpose, but to set his people free. Because sometimes, God shakes what we know to bring us into what he's promised. And in all the chaos, all the noise, and all the waiting, Moses holds on, so as you lay down, let your thoughts slow, let your breathing deepen, let your heart rest. God is working, even when we can't see it, even when the answer hasn't come yet. And just like he led Moses, he's leading you. So tonight, let go of the worry, let go of the questions, let his presence settle over you. You're not alone, you are not forgotten. He is still speaking, still guiding, still good. Sleep in that truth, rest in that peace. The story isn't over yet. So now, imagine the tension, plague after plague. Pharaoh still says no. The people wait, they wonder, they hope. But God hasn't forgotten. He's not finished. He tells Moses, one more plague, and after that, Pharaoh will let them go. Imagine the night, the silence, the instructions passed from house to house, every family, every home, preparing a lamb, painting blood on the doorframe. Strange, mysterious, holy. And then darkness, stillness, and the angel of the Lord passes through. Death visits Egypt, but the homes covered by the blood are safe, protected, passed over. It's called Passover, and it marks the beginning of freedom. Now imagine the morning. Pharaoh finally gives the word, go, leave, take your people, and just like that, a nation begins to walk, not in chains, but in promise. Now picture it. Hundreds of thousands walking through the desert, carrying hope, carrying faith, following the God who led them out, and above them, a cloud by day, a fire by night, God himself guiding their way. Now, let that settle in. You have a God who leads, who protects, who goes before you, even when the way is long, even when the journey is slow. And now, as you rest, know this, that same God is with you tonight, guiding, shielding, staying close, so you can sleep, not with fear, but with trust, because the same God who parted the seas still makes a way, even now, even here, even for you. Now, imagine the people walking, free, but afraid. They've left Egypt, but Egypt is not finished with them. Pharaoh changes his mind, his heart hardens, he gathers his army, his horses, his chariots, and he begins to chase. Now picture this. The people look back and they see dust rising, wheels turning, soldiers shouting, and ahead of them, a sea. Water too wide to cross, too deep to walk through. Behind them, danger. In front of them, impossible. And panic rises. But Moses, he doesn't run, he doesn't hide. He lifts his eyes and listens for God. And God says, do not be afraid, stand still, and you will see the salvation of the Lord. Then he tells Moses, raise your staff, stretch out your hand over the sea, and Moses obeys. Now, imagine it. A great wind begins to blow. The water shakes. Then it parts. Walls of water on each side, dry ground in the middle, a way where there was no way, and the people walk forward, step by step, through the sea, not drowning, but delivered. God holds the water back until every last person is through. Then, as Pharaoh's army follows, the waters return and the enemy is swept away. The danger is gone, the people are safe, and for the first time in their lives, they are truly free. Now, let that truth settle in your heart. God doesn't just bring you out, He brings you through. He makes a path even in the deepest waters, and tonight, whatever feels too wide, too deep, too overwhelming, know this: your God still parts seas, still makes a way, still leads his people forward, so you can rest, you can breathe, you can sleep in peace, because the God who led Moses leads you too. Even now, even here, even in the dark, there is light, and in your stillness, he is near.